Hey, how y'all doing, man? I'm Iron Chalice, and this is my Red Room testimony. I want to tell y'all something. I want to give y'all a supernatural event that happened in my life that I never really shared with nobody, but I feel like I should share with everybody, this time. God been really putting it on my heart to put this stuff out, so I'm going to really put this stuff out and really give y'all some insight on what God's been in my life, what he's done in my life, and, just how real he's been for me. But, I want to tell y'all something, man. I was about 20 years old, right? Matter of fact, let's move up a little bit. I was like 21 to probably 21 to 22. It was like a little bit, before I met my wife, and just a little bit before then. And sometimes, I used to stand on the corners a lot. I had a lot of friends, and I hung out with a lot of people, and I would stand on corners and stuff a lot. But I would always find time to myself. And these times, I would put on my workout gear. I wait till it get kind of late, around like 12, 1. And I would put on workout gear and I would go walking. But when I would go walking, what nobody knew I would do was I would pray. I would talk to God. Now, I always knew God was real. No matter what I did, no matter how much, drugs I sold, no matter how much guns I had on me, how I stood there in the middle of violence, and I just stood there all day long and did different things I wasn't supposed to do. I always knew God was real. So I would go, long story short, I went for a little walk, and I started talking to God, and I was just having this deep conversation with God, and I was making a lot of promises to God. And I was asking God, I said, God, if you do this, I'll do this. If you do this for me, I'll do this. And I was asking God to change a lot of things in my life because of, a lot of places and a lot of things I was doing, a lot of places I was going, and where I was, I just wasn't happy with it. I knew down inside something was wrong. But I was, seeing all these things of God, and I was talking to God, and I remember I sat under this bridge. This is bridge in South Philly. It's like on Front and Snyder. For people that know about South Philly, know about Front and Snyder. And I sat under this bridge across from this Target, and I was sitting there by myself this particular night. It was a windy, stormy night, real rainy, trees blowing hard, and I was crying. It was storming, and I was talking to God, and I was crying, and I felt the presence of God. And this before I was even close to God. I wasn't even, strong in my faith now. I was still in the world, 1 foot in the world, 1 foot out. But I asked God these questions, and I made these promises to God. But I remember when I was on my way home, walking home, and I was still talking to God, I said, you know what, God? I challenged God. I said, God, if you hear me, let me find some money. That's what I said. And I did find money. But the crazy thing about it is this. As soon as I said that, I'm walking down the street. I cuts the corner, it was a certain block I was on, and I turns the corner, and I see $1 laying there. $1 just laying there. But the best thing about the $1 laying there was this. Not just that $1 was laying there, but it was in the middle of a rainy, stormy night, and $1 was not wet. It was dry. And the wind was blowing, and $1 was just sitting there. I mean, it was just blowing, just sitting there, didn't even blow away. And that day that I knew in my heart that God was real, and that he heard my prayers. And right after I picked up the $1, I could hear God speak to me. I could hear the voice of God speak to my spirit and say, I heard you. And everything I prayed for that night has been manifested in my life today. In fact, it was about a year afterwards, I began to see what I prayed for begin to manifest about a year afterwards. And I can give you many stories, but I'll say that for the next video. But I just want to encourage y'all, to really, really, really believe that God hear you when you pray. He hear you. He hear you. Just believe. Believe. And I guarantee you, if you believe, you'll begin to see everything you pray for manifest. He'll manifest. Challenge God. Say, Lord, if you hear me, give me a dream. If you hear me, give me a vision. If you hear me, let this happen. Do what I did. Let me find some money. Ask God. But that's, that's my daughter. But let me get back to my family. Remember, then again, I'm Iron Chalice, aka Izzy the Great, and this is my Red Room testimony. And stay tuned for more videos.